What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I'm here to report the fight between Manny Pacquiao and Lucas Matisse. I did a prediction earlier. For those who've seen it, I said that Manny Pacquiao's speed would be too much for Lucas Matisse. Despite my personal opinion about Manny Pacquiao, he did what he needed to do. And like Timothy Bradley said, his B game is a lot better than guy's A game. So the speed, the power, the uppercut, he already set it up. Matisse could not handle that. He could not handle the hand speed of Manny Pacquiao, and that's what happens to a lot of guys. Ask Jesse Vargas, ask Timothy Bradley, mention him. Ask many fighters about his hand speed and his punching power. Speaking of Desert Storm TB, Timothy Bradley, he did say something that made a lot of sense. He fought both guys, Ruslan Bravanikov and Manny Pacquiao, and he was comparing the two guys' strengths. Manny Pacquiao's strength is more like putting something in an electrical socket, right? It's sharp, it's crisp, it's also powerful, but it's not thudding like he mentioned Ruslan Bravanikov. The kind of punching he gives you concussions like he had and he received in his fight. So I think that it was a very good fight. But mind you, let's remember something, guys. Lucas Matisse come from 140. Lucas Matisse quit. I mean, I understand he had a eye injury in the fight with Postal, but he's coming from a smaller weight class. When he was a beast, an absolute beast, he was knocking guys out. If I had to compare him to anybody, I would compare him to Arturo Gotti, because Gotti was a lot stronger at 140 than he was at 147. Okay, so let's not get that confused with the other guys that's already in the division. Okay, you got Sean Porter, you got Danny Garcia, you got Errol Spence, which is also the champion. You got Terrence Crawford, the same guy that he could have fought at 140 or 147 or wherever, right? You got Keith Thurman. You have all these guys that, and it seems to me that it was a smart fight to pick after the loss to Jeff Horn. But remember something. Jeff Horn was not a loss. It was a robbery, okay? He should have won that fight with Jeff Horn, but he wasn't dominant like he was in his previous fights. With this fight, with the Timothy Bradley 3 fight, okay? He was not dominant in these particular fights, okay? Or he was dominant. He wasn't dominant in the Jeff Horn fight, okay? So we look at it on what Manny Pacquiao should do. The way he responded, I have to address. I like it. I respect it. He didn't come like a young, dumb, full of cum fighter, okay? He came like a person that's been seasoned. Hey, I need to go back to my country, celebrate my victory, think about what I'm going to do next. That's what I respect. Because, see, this is what happens. He has a piece of the WBA. Okay. Now, to get mad respect, the Henry Armstrong kind of guy, right? He should take on those bets. But if he honestly believes that he can't because he's 39 years of age, leave Manny Pacquiao be, okay? That doesn't mean Manny Pacquiao should just pick a lower opposition fight. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that. I'm not saying that. I'm against that. But what I am saying is, if you know and you're honest and truly honest with yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, you know not to take on a guy like Errol Spence or Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman already called Manny Pacquiao out. Keith Thurman, he selects certain targets, just like other welterweights have been notorious for doing, right? He already wants to fight Manny Pacquiao. So I would like to see that fight as much as that, but Keith Thurman is no Matisse, and Keith Thurman is a full-fledged welterweight. And he started at 150 or 154, okay? So he's a lot bigger than people think he is in weight difference. And that's where Manny Pacquiao capped when he gave Margarito his blessing on his eye, right? So let's look at it how it is, okay? Timothy Bradley was praising Manny Pacquiao, but understand, Manny Pacquiao is the kind of guy, if you get beat by Manny Pacquiao and you don't get beat again, it's easy, and I can see it convenient for Timothy Bradley to praise Manny Pacquiao because he lost 2 out of 3, or damn near. Officially, he did. But I think he lost all 3 fights. So his big significance was really, to me, not beating Manny Pacquiao, but decisioning Manny Pacquiao. And then Manny Pacquiao having a low point in his career by getting knocked out by Marquez and then beating Marquez. So I just had to address that. So, you know, and I'm not taking anything away from Timothy Bradley. He's a great commentator. He has a job. He's in Malaysia. They're taking care of him. Top Rank is showing him love. But he had a good career. He had one of the Fight of the Year with Ruslan Prevanikov, stuff like that. But let's get back to Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is the kind of person that he refuses to let go. But I think I've seen some wisdom in his decision and what he said. Like, I won't fight all these guys that all of a sudden want to fight him and they didn't before, which I feel 100% BS, chicken shit, whatever you want to call it, is not cool. You know what I mean? But he does have a WBA, a part of the crown. So, since he has that, you know, I still understand how he feels as far as wanting to take it easy, because you don't want him to get out there and get beat by those guys. But I would like to see what he does with those guys, if he's still capable and honestly, spiritually, mentally, physically capable. Okay? That's the whole gist of the matter. So Manny Pacquiao still showed he has pop, he has speed, he still has those angles. And like Timothy Bradley said, his B game is better than a lot of guys' A game. And that's absolutely true. And I got to take my hat off to him. I'm glad nobody was really hurt. Matthysee also, remember, he quit in the Paul Stoll fight. So I think, you know, I think honestly he didn't supposed to be at 147. I do believe that, because, you know, or he showed that he doesn't supposed to, or he doesn't feel that he can keep up with those guys. Because those guys at 147, bro, it's a different beast. They're the biggest of the little guys at 147, okay? So if he does go in there with Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, if he goes in there with those guys, that if he feels he has something to prove, I think he could do that by fighting, or at least competing or beating one of those guys. And I'm going to leave it at that. Hey, Manny Pacquiao, again, great acknowledgments. Knocking out Lucas Matisse in 7 rounds with the same uppercut he dropped him with in the third round. Matisse couldn't handle it, and I think Matisse, you know, is content with what he's doing, because he basically said the same thing as Manny Pacquiao. I want to go home and let my family know I'm okay and, you know, relax. And that's what Manny Pacquiao did. No bad blood. Great fight. Undercard was off the chain. Okay? So I will address that in another video, because I love to address fighters when fighters need to be addressed. And I think that particular fight needs to, but I won't do it right now. I want to get this video out to you guys. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.